Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. This is Rustam, and today I'm going to discuss another connected speech feature known as rhythm. So, this is lecture number 21. If you are listening to this lecture for the first time, you are requested to go back and listen to remaining lectures, the lectures which I earlier recorded in this stream. So, this lecture is a customized lecture, that is, it is based upon course content of BS English 4. So, BS English 4 fourth semester is a semester which studies English recommended or prescribed by the course contents of Azara University and Aptabad University. So the course code is 242 and the title of the course is Phonetics and Phonology. Okay, so if you are listening to this video lecture for the first time, you are requested to subscribe the channel and also press the bell icon so that you are notified if I upload another lecture in the same stream. So up till now I have recorded lectures on these segmental phonology, and there are three branches of phonology, that is segmental phonology, as you can see here on the screen. Second one is suprasegmental phonology, and third one is contrastive phonology. So in each category I plan to record lectures. So these are preliminary or basic lectures, foundation lectures. So students are requested to visit YouTube, and there are many specialized lectures on these items. So let me magnify. So in suprasegmental phonology, which is also known as connected speech, that is when we put words together into stream of speech. So words change their behavior from segments in when they move into suprasegments. Okay, so up till now I have discussed assimilation, elision, liaison, and weak forms. Today's topic is rhythm. In the next lecture, I'll talk about either contrastive stress or intonation, and this way, this suprasegmental phonology will be covered. And then we will move into contrastive phonology known as teaching of pronunciation. Okay, now what is rhythm? Rhythm is a general term, and actually it is when something happens at a regular interval of time. Okay, some noticeable event happening at regular intervals of time, and its example can be the heartbeat. Okay, the rhythm of a heartbeat. As we can see, if we put our finger onto our pulse, so wrist and pulse, we can feel the the flow of blood, that is the pumping of the heart. So I think heartbeat has got rhythm. Same is the case with to and fro motion of a pendulum. So when every something happens like this, and at equal interval, that is known as rhythm. Okay, now English is a stress time language. So in English, let me pause it for a while. So English is known as a stress time language. And why? Because English speech is rhythmical. And what is rhythm in English speech? Actually, the rhythm is detectable in the regular occurrence of stress syllables. So later on, I'll explain what is the meaning. What do I mean by stress syllables? So second point which I'm going to mention here, and later on I'm going to elaborate upon it, is that in stress time rhythm, stress syllables will tend to occur at relatively regular intervals, whether they are separated by unstressed syllables or not. Okay, now let me explain it. Now here is an example. uh, Rather, some people have developed a theory known as stress time rhythm theory. So what does this theory say? Let me magnify the screen. uh, People who advocate this theory, they say that time from one stress syllable to the next stress syllable tend to be the same irrespective of the number of intervening unstressed syllables. Okay, uh, for BS students, catching this idea of stress timing and rhythm may be a bit challenging one, but as time passes, these ideas, these notions, stress timing and the notion of this rhythm will be quite clear to them. Okay, so see this sentence, like, let me read it at a slower pace without any rhythmic notion. Okay, walk down the path to the end of the canal. Okay, now I have shown the stress syllables in bold phase. These are the stress syllables. Okay, and there are 5 stress syllables as you can see on the screen. So remaining we have, this one is unstressed, these two are unstressed, and these three are unstressed. Now what happens in English speech? As you can see here, that let me first explain that here from 1 to 2, okay, syllable 1 and syllable number 2, so there is no unstressed syllable between these two syllables, okay, 1 and 2. Okay, so if I pronounce these two syllables with 1 second, so what happens now? Now from 2 to 3, as we can see here, from 2 to 3, so there is one unstressed syllable as we can see here, and from 3 to 4 there are two unstressed syllables. Okay, this one and this one, this is unstressed and this is unstressed. And from 4 to 5, as you can see here, from 4 to 5 there are three unstressed syllables, 1, 2 and 3. So now what do they do in English speech? That although this has got one unstressed syllables here, and this has got two, and this has got three, but the same time will be taken. Okay, let me show this one and up to this one and up to this one, now this one. So this is, so each syllable, regardless of intervening number of unstressed syllables between, will be stressed with equal amount of time. I have shown here 1 second, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. So English native speakers will pronounce it. Let me try to imitate them like this: walk down path end of canal, walk down path end of canal. So each, they will jump from this to this and from this to this, and in between these intervening unstressed syllables, either they will not be pronounced or they will be shrunk into a weak form. Later on I'm going to explain. Let's move on to the next slide. So what is the concept of foot? As we have a foot in metrical composition, poetry or verse, etc. So the foot is called unit of rhythm. Unit of rhythm. So what is a foot? A foot is defined with this definition, as you can see here. The foot begins with a stressed syllable and includes all the following unstressed syllables up to but not including the following unstressed syllable. Let me explain. So here is a sentence: walk, this is one stressed syllable as you can see here. Now this is known as 1 foot. 1 foot in rhythmic speech. In rhythmic speech, it is known as 1 foot. So here is another foot. From this red line to this red line, we have another foot. So this foot includes this stressed syllable and this unstressed syllable. So these two make up 1 foot. Now the third foot, from this to this, it has got three syllables. Okay, one is stressed and two are unstressed. Okay, now this fourth foot consists of four syllables. As we can see, one is stressed and three are unstressed, and the last foot consists of only one syllable. So it means the length of the foot varies. Okay, this foot is in lengthwise, this foot is let's say let me show with this symbol, and this one is a bit longer like this, and this is further longer. Okay, and this is a bit more long, this is longer than this one, and this is the shortest one. But when we pronounce them, we are going to take the same amount of time, like let's say 1 second. So why? Because native speakers, they just try to speak only the stressed syllables, and what happens to the unstressed? Either they are not pronounced in connected speech, or even if they are pronounced, they are weakened. That is, shwa or a sound is introduced, and they like these two sound. So why this happens in connected speech? Because as in every video lecture I mention that in connected speech, the economy of effort is the sole principle. Economy of effort, economy of effort, economy of energy or effort. So native speaker don't want to exert extra pressure on their vocal tract, so they go for such connected speech features which demand less amount of energy, like assimilation, elision, then weak forms. Now today I'm discussing rhythm. Okay, now let's go to few examples of duration of each feat. Here is a word one, O-N-E, one. I have shown here phonemic transcription. Let's say I take up 1 second to pronounce it. Okay, so this has got only one stress syllable. Now here is another word, one and, one and. It has got two syllables. So one is stressed and another one is unstressed. This is stressed and this is unstressed. But the same amount of time will be utilized in articulation of these two syllables. Let's say if this takes up 1 second, these two put together will take up 1 second. So how this is going to be achieved? By turning this and into weak form like this un. Now this one and will become onean, onean. See, if you try to speak with me, you will see, if you say here, if the time you require to pronounce this one, the same time you will require to pronounce this one onean, one. Now this one, onean, same amount of time. So in order to introduce the same amount of time, this weakening of the syllable has been introduced. So native speakers will pronounce this one word and these two words with the same amount of time. Okay, uh, let's add another syllable. Sorry. So in the third example, this one, we have three syllables, this one and this one. So this one is stressed and these two are unstressed, as I have mentioned here. Now here is the phonetic transcription, one and a, one and a. If but native speakers won't speak it like this, one and a. Now they will jump from one to one and then this one. In between this one and these two will either not be pronounced or they will be shortened. Okay, now see, they are going to pronounce it like onean and then a. Onean is here, as you can see here, onean, up till here, onean. Now this a is going to be turned into shwa sound, and now they in practical speech this will be heard like this, oneana, oneana. Okay, when we say one and a book, let's say, so they will quickly, in a rush of speech, it will be sounded as if it was one word. As you can see, one word, one word and one word. Also there are three words here, there are two words here, there is one word here, but each word, each phrase, rather, this is one phrase, this is another phrase, this is another phrase, each phrase will take up same amount of time, let's say 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. So how are how native speakers achieve this? Just by bringing them together, one and a. Okay, now what happens? I'm going to conclude, because in this preliminary speech, in this preliminary video recording, I won't go into detail. I just want to sensitize BS students towards a rhythmic element in English speech. Okay, so native speakers of English jump from stress to the next stress syllable. Okay, and in this process, either they do not pronounce unstressed syllables or make them weakened using weak forms. Let me show you here. Let's say this one is a strong stress syllable, stress and stress. So let me bring it between the frame. So stress. So in connected speech, they will jump from this to this. As you can see, I have already shown with arrows, from this to this, from this to this, and from this to this. So if we happen to listen to a native speaker, the countries whose mother tongue is English, so what we are going to hear, that these unstressed syllables, they will either not be pronounced like this, or they will be weakened the way I shown in the previous slide. Okay, now we are going to simply listen, we are going to simply hear walk down path and knoll, walk down path and canal. So what does it mean? That where has these unstressed syllable gone? Either just slurred over, elided over, or dropped. So that's why sometimes when we listen to native speech, we can't understand their speech. Sometimes is not intelligible to foreign learners or students, because we can't make we can't understand what's happening. So actually, when native speakers talk to each other, they just, in a rush of speech, they just pronounce only stress syllables, and the gaps are filled by the listener, because they are used to each other, so they can fill up the gaps. They already know that unstressed syllables are being ignored, are not pronounced. However, for foreign learners like we are in great difficulty, and we face a lot of challenge in understanding the foreign speech. However, if we are trained by just theoretically trained, I mean, although being at advanced stage, sometimes we can't adapt our speech organs to the foreign the target language situation. But if we have the knowledge about all these connected speech features, at least even if we can't ourselves speak the way they speak, but when we are listening to native speech, we will at least be able to understand what's going on. So we must know that English is a stress time language, in which stress they jump from stress syllable to the next stress syllable, and this way there is a rhythm. They introduce rhythm in their speech. As you can see here, rhythm, everything is happening at equal interval. So this way a musicality is introduced into English speech. This is a kind of theory. So some people say that English speech is not as rhythmical it is made to be look like. But still, I think it happens, because I have been listening to commentators, particularly Australians and New Zealanders. So they just pronounced only the stress syllables. However, by ear training, by listening to lot of foreign speech, by listening to BBC news, although BBC's English is controlled English, and that is a received pronunciation, but if we listen to a lot of videos on YouTube, foreign speech, particularly on TED Talks, or when we listen to cricket commentary and football commentary, then we are going to realize what's happening in connected speech. So the connected speech contains all the features of connected speech, like assimilation, elision, rhythm, and weak forms. And next I'll cover up contrastive stress and intonation. So In fourth semester, I think we should not go into detail, but I have tried to explain what is rhythm and what is stress timing. Okay, in the next lecture, inshallah, video lecture, first I thank you that you have visited this channel and you are listening to these videos, which are being recorded in the backdrop of COVID-19, the period in the time of COVID-19. So I just want our students to be engaged. In the next video lecture, I'll talk about contrastive stress, which is also known as sentence stress. There are two types of stresses. One is known as word stress, which is fixed, and there is another flexible stress known as sentence stress. So in spoken language, conversational language, or connected speech, we introduce all these features. So if you haven't subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel Rustum's Way of Learning English, and also press the icon, bell icon. So let me take you to the first slide before I finish this recording. Here, as you can see, so we are in suprasegmental phonology. That is, we are above the level of segments here. So we allophones, phonemes, consonants, vowels, etc. Now we are in when words change their behavior under the influence of neighboring words. So suprasegmental phonology is going to be I am going to inshallah complete segmental phonology within few more lectures, and then we will jump into contrastive phonology, and we will discuss Pakistani English and features of Pakistani English, and what happens to English speech when it comes into the hands of Pakistani speakers. So keep your fingers crossed for the next video lecture known as intonation or contrastive stress. Thank you very much for listening to this video.